Mother-in-law called my husband sexy.
However, that being the case, you're born into a family that has its own history and its own joys and tribulations and adventures and hardships.
Your best bet would be to dump them both and go as close to no contact as possible. That left me to pick up his slack, driving my mom to appointments, managing her meds, cooking, cleaning, and basically taking care of everything he should have been doing. I was 16. But the term, it's like you're referring to the exact same thing, and in this case, this woman is just referring to her son looks very attractive in the sense of it's great to see a hands-on dad. I'm a mother. In no realm of the universe would I do anything inappropriate with my kids' partners. It's just inconceivable.
My heart breaks for her.
You can choose to go down a very dark path if you want to, or you can really choose to take this as, this is my turning point in life. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Munch Corner podcast. I am your host, Savannah, and
I am Omar. So we are here to provide us and the community that we actually love to be part of a little bit of insight on some stories. And Savannah selected a few really good ones today.
All of them are related to family. So whether it's...
And everybody has families. So I think there is a way to relate.
This can be the most relatable, I think.
But before we get started,
okay,
I put the tea in our little cups.
Tea. Let's see what we have today.
So we're going to see what we have Savannah test it out. She's not going to get this one.
I'm not going to get it? Why do you say that?
Because you don't have it very often.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. Should I tell you?
Yeah.
All right. So it's one of our nice August tea blends, but this one is called Black Gold. So it is really a classic black tea. And then, of course, we have it in our little cups here. So that's a little bit different.
That's very nice. No, I don't have it often. It didn't taste familiar.
And that's an inside joke between us. So I'll share the story for a couple seconds. Savannah has a different cup that she likes to use, which is about the same as this. And she told me I want it in the bigger cup. And then I did this little demonstration for her, which she chuckled a little bit.
It looks bigger.
So we just sort of laughed at this one. So I always call this a little cup because it's identical to the other cup that we had.
So you took both cups, my so-called big cup.
Yes.
Filled it with water and tipped the water into this cup. And it was exactly the same.
There's nothing like a visual to help for this. So this is part of my...
The problem is, okay.
Oh, let's hear
Look at it's double glassed.
Right.
So it's got a double wall.
Big
so
cup.
you can see why it would look small.
Of course.
So it's the joke that it's the small cup.
The audience gets it now. So now we're perfectly having fun. And for those of you who haven't seen us very often, I do enjoy teasing Savannah. So this is
all the time.
It's like a personal hobby. So
Well, we did decide to whip out the iPad this time for you guys. We figured you guys deserve a better listening experience because it's very hard to read on a small phone.
Yeah, Savannah I would have a bigger challenge, so I'm just going to say that right up front. However, that being the case, I did promise Savannah that I would select some stories as well in the future so that I could surprise her and we can get her first reaction.
So I don't want anyone to think that I read these stories prior to actually filming. A lot of what we're reading together is very much a surprise to me. I just make sure it's the type of content we want to cover, like the type of topics, and then just make sure is it readable, whatever we're doing.
Yes.
So I don't want to read something that's kind of butchered in tense and grammar and everything. So we want to make this as great of an experience for you guys as it is for us. And with that being said...
All right. Are we ready to
dive right in?
Okay. Let's hear what the first one is.
Am I overreacting? My mother-in-law called my husband sexy.
On many levels, that is a problem.
All right, so let's get this right.
So,
my mother-in-law called my husband sexy.
Mother-in-law.
So his mom called him sexy.
His mom called him sexy.
Oh
For a minute there, I thought it was the other way around, like it was maybe her mom. But
sometimes you have to read it a little bit slower.
Now it's sort of like it's set in. So this is going to be juicy.
Okay, everyone. So maybe not suited to am I overreacting because I haven't done or said anything yet, but I'm screaming internally.
I can imagine why.
What a strange thing to hear. So my in-laws are staying with us for the 4th. So I'm gathering she's referring to the 4th of July. Last night, my mother-in-law holds up her phone to my husband, her son, and says, I have to say, this is a pretty sexy picture. And I look, and it's my husband at the beach, shirtless, obviously, holding our sleeping baby. Husband makes some comment about the baby sleeping and doesn't acknowledge the sexy comment. Is this weird? I think it is so strange to call your child sexy. It makes me feel so icky. Like there's nothing I can do about it.
And actually it rhymes too.
I'm like,
sexy and icky.
there's nothing I can do about it, but it just makes me cringe. Maybe it's because she just annoys me in every single way. But am I overreacting?
Okay, I think she gave us kind of that final clue at the end. She annoys me in every way. She does not have a good relationship with her
clearly she doesn't have a
in-law.
good relationship with her mother-in-law. But think about it. We have a son.
Yes.
I don't know that I'd go if Ryland has a child and I see a picture of him and his child on the beach and say, oh, my son, I must say you look really sexy in this picture.
So I think we have to read a little more into this. So
he was holding his baby.
It's not that part. So the term she's using, does she really mean it in the sense that it literally is said? Because obviously the writer thought that and took it very literal. And I don't know that I would necessarily blame her, but we don't have the context of how mother-in-law speaks. She may end up having the use of this word, but not in a sexual way.
She is a different generation, right? So we need to keep that in mind. So what does sexy mean to different people?
Okay, the audience, let's ask you the question. And I think honestly the answers are going to be very different for a lot of different people for a lot of different things. But honestly, culturally, I have seen it used as a word that's just to say, you look really good, right? And it's not the word I would use. I don't think it's the word Savannah would use. We wouldn't use it with our kids because the relationship we have with our children is, well, it's not sexual. I mean, it's really
it's not sexual. So
it's a very deep-seated love that has nothing to do with that part. It's a very different part of us.
And I don't think she meant it in a sexual way. It just sounds strange, like she said.
It does, and I think I have to say the reason was the clue at the end. It was the way she responded. My mother-in-law annoys me on so many different ways. So this is, I think, one more annoyance. On top of it all.
Let's see what one of the comments said.
All right, I'm curious about this.
So, yeah, I think her generation just had a different meaning for the word. It's like the idea behind a man shirtless holding a baby. People might say the same thing if a man was fixing something around the house or doing chores. It's the same as saying this is an attractive quality in a person. But because our generation has taken sexiness to the extreme and openly used the word to describe what we see in music videos and movies, we associate it with only someone we directly want to have sex with.
Yeah.
Sexy used to be cool or extra good. Friends could be like, what do you think of this jacket? And have another friend say, it's totally sexy, you should wear it. So I think I see it in that perspective.
Yeah, I can definitely see that perspective.
That makes so much sense.
Now, I think if she could accept that her mother-in-law is different generationally talking.
It doesn't help that she already is
already annoyed by her.
Annoyed by her in general. It doesn't seem like they get along at all.
So I think that's the driver behind why she's responding that way.
But it does sound a little bit strange if you don't know the people very well, then it might come off if you're an outsider listening.
Well, I would agree. For us on the outside, it seems a little odd.
The wife must not understand the relationship between the son and the mom, because apparently he didn't blink an eye at the sexy comment.
And because he's probably heard something like it before.
I didn't think much of it.
And I think because he knows his mother just talks a certain way. So he doesn't read into it. I don't think there was anything more than that. But I do think the key part was it is in the context of holding her or their son on the beach, and it was the idea that it's attractive that a man wants to be a dad.
Right.
So I think that's
the same thing
part.
as like, oh, I like it when a man gets his hands dirty.
Yeah.
It's it's not sexual. It's just
It's a term.
that he's
Yeah, and it's. I think if I'm looking at the generational part, you'd have to try to put the mother maybe in her choice of words and maybe the context, 60s and 70s, right? I mean, this is almost where I'm kind of placing her. So if that's what she grew up in, then you can go back to the old Austin Power movies and look and say,
"Oh, behave."
Yeah, sexy baby, shag me. You get all the stuff that we look at as a retro right today.
Okay.
But back then it was very common language.
Yeah, I think
and so that's where she's
fair.
kept it.
You
I think
have
that's
to
fair.
you have to put it in the context in where she is coming from, not in where the most generations are today and how they will perceive it. Because
I
yes,
agree.
the word sexy can be very sexualized these days, but you can use the word sexy and not make it sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's very controversial, though.
I think it is, but this is maybe a little, just a little kind of piece of advice for this woman. She's struggling with her relationship with her mother-in-law, and we have no idea why, but I wouldn't read too much into this piece, and maybe try to understand her mother-in-law's perspective, that it's a different generation, different choice of words, different slang. Just idioms are different. Everything's different, and we sometimes watch in like a current generation a word that's being used that we look at and say, I don't get it. I think there's certain words that are timeless, but I think we've seen lots of expressions that are not.
Can I use a very, very obvious example? And it's with an object. It's not a different.
Are you going to objectify the object?
No. Well, come listen. Okay, so I'm from South Africa. When we have a baby or someone has a baby.
Oh my gosh, yes, there's plenty here.
Yes, okay. What? No, that's not what I'm trying to get to.
It's not that there are no babies in South Africa. That's not what you're
There's
saying.
babies everywhere, okay?
There's babies
all right,
everywhere.
So everyone refers to what babies suck on as something different.
Yes.
And I know this is dipping a little bit into kind of what we're referring to.
She's being very generic, but she is going to get to
I'm going to get to the point.
She's going to say it. Yes.
I'm going to get to the point. Okay, we all know, and I'm going to call it a pacifier, a passy.
Yes, a passy.
Because in America, it's known as pacifier. I grew up with it being called something else.
What was that something else?
And it sounds ridiculous.
Well, say it anyway.
It's called a dummy. So if I'm logically thinking through, oh, here's your dummy little one. You get something called a dummy doll too, right?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. It's a little dummy, silly doll, something like that. So, I mean, you can see this is coming from a different part of the world, but the term, it's like you're referring to the exact same thing. And in this case, this woman is just referring to her son looks very attractive in the sense of it's great to see a hands-on dad.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right about the cultural context too. There are so many things. If you guys ever want to see a little bit of South Africa, I'm going to highly recommend see a couple of Trevor Noah's little skits about South
Trevor
Africa.
Noah is so good.
Because then he'll use expressions, and he'll also tell you things of how things are spoken in a completely different country. And we're not talking about a language difference here. I mean, everyone's speaking English here. However, there are so many different kinds of expressions that are used all around the world, depending on the culture you come from, even with the same language. So I have no idea more of the context here, but I do think a little grace to the mother-in-law. She still may be annoying, but I don't think she's meaning anything to this one.
I clearly, by the way that she was talking about it, it's very different if he was like just standing there with the shirt off and just referring to him as like, but the baby was sleeping on his chest. So I can see the relation to, you know what, a dad that's very hands-on is very attractive. And it doesn't mean it has to be a sexual attraction. It's just very much, oh, wow, it's a nice warm and fuzzy feeling just because, it's everyone knows more so that moms might tend to be more hands-on. I'm just saying.
No, generally, you're not
generally,
wrong.
Generally, but you get a lot of guys that can be more so or just as hands-on as a mom. And I think this is what we're touching on over here.
And I think she's attempting to basically say it's an attractive quality, that her son is wanting and enjoying being a father and has that level of affection for their child.
I think that's wonderful.
All right.
I mean,
I like this one. This is a very interesting
I'll-
conversation about cultures.
Our little boy's won today. So he's taking his sweet nap. Very emotional day, but he's hit the number 1 milestone. And
He's growing up too quickly is what Savannah's saying.
oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been a year. I can't believe it's been a year.
Well,
But my point is, as he's gotten older, to be able to watch his dad and him get so much closer, there is a different attraction to my husband that I have that's not sexual than he.
no?
Well, hey,
Okay.
not in this case, okay?
Okay, all right. What about when I cook? How's it then?
Oh, it's real sexy.
Okay, there you go. So now we're going to start using these words.
Anyway, so there's a different sense of attraction in connecting to your partner when you see them connecting to the child you guys created together.
Yeah, I agree.
And in the sense of, as a mom watching your child be a dad, oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps. He's far off from that if he decides to be a dad. For our son to be very hands-on with his kids, you know, I would also say, oh, wow, my son, you're doing such a great job. It looks good on you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we wouldn't use in our vocabulary.
I wouldn't use sexy.
We wouldn't use the word sexy.
Just because I do feel...
But it is a very attractive trait. So if we're able to see Ryland decide one day to have his own family and he would be holding his child, I think we would be very proud of that connection that he would have.
Don't make me cry.
No, we won't do that.
He's still one. He's still one, everyone, okay?
Yeah. He still has a couple more years before college. Just a couple.
I hate it when he does that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, our sweet little boy. I love him so much. Let's jump into the next one.
Yes.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to acknowledge my half-sibling?
Oof.
So
Half-siblings are a very interesting mix.
I do have a half-brother, although it's like I never look at him as a half-brother. He's always just my brother. And I love him to bits. So it's going to be very interesting to kind of see where this story leading into.
Well, and I also happen to have a half-sister as well. So
I don't look at my half-brother any different.
No,
I never use the term half. If people are trying to get context of what side of the family he comes from, then you're using the explanation half sibling, you know, because you're trying to show the family tree, which is incredibly...
Savannah's got a funny family tree.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's incredibly funky. It's the funkiest tree you'll see.
Funky is a good way to describe it. So well, let's see
all
what the
right,
story is.
let's
see what they have.
I, 22 female, have a half-sister, 6 female from my dad's affair. I want absolutely nothing to do with her, my stepmother or my dad. My mother was battling cancer when my dad decided to cheat. Instead of being there for his wife while she was literally fighting for her life, he was off playing house with another woman.
Oof. There is a lot with this one. Okay. And I think it has a lot less to do with half-sibling and more to do with dad.
That left me to pick up his slack, driving my mom to appointments, managing her meds, cooking, cleaning, and basically taking care of everything he should have been doing. I was 16.
Oof, that's a lot to put on a 16-year-old.
Oh,
very, very
you are
hard.
still small yourself. You shouldn't be.
You should not be
the
handling.
adult.
I mean, you should have the support system at 16
Oh,
because you're figuring out yourself.
That's incredibly sad.
Oh.
Okay. Meanwhile, my dad got another woman pregnant, then expected me to be a loving big sister to the result. That is not fair.
Is that the end of it?
No.
Okay. Let's see.
I've made it clear since day one that I want no relationship with my dad's child, my stepmother, or my father beyond what is absolutely necessary. I barely speak to my dad unless I have to, and I haven't spoken a word to my stepmother in years. As for my half-sibling, I do not acknowledge her existence. I don't talk to her, I don't babysit, I don't entertain her attempts to interact with me. If she comes up to me, I tell her to leave me alone and go back to whatever I was doing. I'm not mean to her, I don't yell or insult her, but I refuse to engage. I treat her like a stranger's child.
I think she is being mean to her. I'm sorry, but all those things describe someone being mean.
It is very hard for someone at that age, I think, to disconnect the actions of a dad. So I don't blame her. I'm not saying she's right.
No, I know that, but if we had the
There's
context,
a resentment here.
there's a resentment. But if the context was she was 16 and this was occurring, as opposed to how old is she now?
Well,
She's 20.
16 plus 6 would make her 22 right
She's
now.
22 right now,
Okay.
so she's now not a child anymore.
Okay, let's finish. My father and stepmother hate this. They've spent years trying to force a relationship, which I highly doubt makes it any better.
No, it does not.
They push my half-sibling towards me constantly, telling her she has a big sister who loves her, but is just a little confused. I don't love her. That family is everything. If they were true, he wouldn't have cheated. That her big sister wants to be in her life, I don't. They tried to shove her in my face every holiday, every visit. I've told them straight up, I don't care. She's nothing to me. She's just a kid I don't know and I don't want to be around. The more they push, the more I dig my heels in. For contrast, I have an older brother, 27 male, and I'm a very involved aunt to his kids, 4 male and 2 female. I love them to pieces, take them to family-friendly activities, and babysit them for free regularly when my brother and sister-in-law need a break. My father's side calls me a hypocrite for this, but I don't care. My nephew and niece are family. My father's kid is not. My brother has cut my father's side off completely, and he has said he'll support me if I do the same. It's clear to everyone that once my grandparents pass, they're the only reason I still have some minimal contact. I'm cutting my father off for good. He'll be just a bad memory, and I feel nothing about it. No money, no guilt trip will ever be worth talking to the man who destroyed my teenage years by making me essentially take on the role of my mom's spouse for 4 years when I should have been allowed to just be a kid. My stepmother recently confronted me, saying I'm cruel and that it's not my half-sibling's fault how she was conceived, that she's an innocent child who just wants a sister. My father backed her up, calling me heartless. Other relatives have chimed in, saying I should be the bigger person, that I'm holding on to too much hate, that I'm punishing a child for my father's sins. But I don't really want to be the bigger person. I don't want anything to do with my father's new family, and I don't care if that makes me the B word. But I want to know if I'm an a-hole for this, if only because I want to have an outside perspective with no skin in the game.
There's
That's
a lot
a
in
tough
this one.
position.
So I honestly would have to say she needs to follow her own path. I mean, this is back to us looking at how journeys are for our lives. We don't necessarily choose our journeys, but we're part of them, and how we react to them is up to us. I could not imagine what she went through at 16. I mean, she is trying to figure out who she is. She's got one step between being a child and to being an adult. And she's now left with a very life-altering experience of taking care of her mother.
Her mom was going through treatment.
Right.
She was 16. And all the while, she's going through 6 years of helping her mom through this treatment, which sounds like...
They didn't say very much about...
I don't think she didn't never mention her mom.
She never mentioned her mom. I don't know if she
made it or not. But point is, while she's being an adult when you should be a child still, her dad is raising another little girl.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of resentment attached to this. I don't think... No, a child should not be punished for the parents' choices and behavior just because no unborn child has a say in how they're conceived and what happens after that.
It's absolutely true.
A child is 100% reliant and vulnerable for a very, very long time. You know, even someone going later into their teenage years, they need you. They need your guidance. They need your help. And sometimes even longer, that a 6-year-old little girl is going to be so confused as to why on earth is this person that's supposed to be my sister, pushing me away. And this is where
she's not going to understand
the parents, the stepmom and the dad should have either given the older sister an option to not be around, because she just said they keep pushing her onto me. If she doesn't want a relationship with them, they can't force it. She said the more they force it, the more distant she feels. And the more they force it, the more that 6-year-old is going to feel it, because this half sister's going to push back.
I
So
think
yes, she
just gonna
deserves
see
to
it.
choose what she wants. She went through a very hard upbringing. She had to grow up very quickly.
There's so much involved in this one. So Savannah and I look at things differently because, again, we have obviously very different perspectives and life experience and what we've experienced with our own families. I would have to say I always go back to kind of the root over here. When children grow up in their families, and I think no matter the age, and I would say until they're about ready to sort of, like, as my dad would say, leave the nest.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point where they have that sense of independence, I'm not talking about teenagers feeling independent. That's a very different part of life. Typically, girls rebel against their mothers in the sense that they argue. It's not like they want the separation; they want the closeness, even though they're trying to figure out their own independence. Boys do it by walking off and sulking and not talking. And I still remember when my dad pulled me out of my shell when I went through that phase too. But the one thing that they all have in common is they don't want their family unit broken apart. And so that's exactly what happened. What we don't know is the relationship that the parents had. In all honesty, she may have wanted the parents never to break apart, and they may have already been broken. Maybe they never got divorced. Maybe they never did anything else. Obviously, the way the dad handled it was absolutely terrible. And then him trying to sort of recreate a different family with another woman and another child,
And then neglecting
his own family, his initial family.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very difficult to rationalize that. At 16, at 15, at 17, at 18. Keep going. She's 22, so she has reached a point where she is seeing more of like the gray shades of life rather than the black and white view that oftentimes a very young child would have.
She has life experience underneath her belt, but she now knows what she wants.
She now knows what she wants.
And if someone pushes a forced relationship on me or on anyone else, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
You're going to make more damage than any good in the long run.
We know that her brother and her are close. And they may have gotten closer over maybe the loss of the mom, or certainly the cancer with the mom. So she's developed a relationship as an aunt, which is very loving, and she wants that. She's really excluded this poor little girl, and I'm going to just refer to her that way because she is very innocent.
She doesn't have a say in any of this.
She doesn't have a say in any of it.
She unfortunately just got stuck in the crossfires.
She did. And I feel really bad that she did because she could be in the writer's journey and frankly her brother's journey, an amazing member of family. And I think that's beautiful and worth exploring. I'm not saying that she has to have the relationship with the little girl with her father and stepmother. But
she's 6 years old.
At 6, it's kind of hard to do that. But in the absence of that, unfortunately, if you don't take a step forward and I would say forgive a little bit,
they might get there.
They might get there, and that's. I think that would be my hope for her is that
maybe there will be a little bit more understanding when the little girl gets older, where if this 22-year-old girl that had to go through raising, looking after her mom, that they might actually have a bit of a bigger conversation about it, and she can understand why, and they can have a relationship in the future. But right now, it seems like it's out the cards for her.
I think it is, and then unfortunately, because she's 6 and she's going to be fairly young for a while, that kind of conversation probably won't happen for, maybe a decade or more, honestly, before they could really sit down and have a little bit of this kind of a conversation. And I hope that they do. So the one thing I will always share with everybody is, look, you don't choose the family you're going to be born to. You can choose, you can choose your wife. I chose Savannah. I chose the life that we have with everything that comes with it. But Rylan didn't choose. From a soul's perspective, we do believe that Ryan chose us, but that's a completely different story. However, that being the case, you're born into a family that has its own history and its own joys and tribulations and adventures and hardships. You're not born necessarily. None of us are born in, we use the joke again, a Bridgerton life with servants sitting behind us. That's a past episode, by the way. But we are born into a journey that I think is well worth sharing. And again, how we choose to share it is really up to us. So I always believe that you can, even at a later time, reconnect that journey. So I'm hoping for both her and her brother, and now her little sister, that there's going to be a joining at one time in the future where they can have that. And then I also hope that little girl has a chance to grow up in a loving home.
I hope so. I hope the stepmom and the dad are great together, despite the poor decisions that they made before. Yeah. This person over here made a comment on the post. We can include it in what we're looking at. So they said, not the a-hole. It's true that this isn't the kid's fault, but the parents should consider it before bringing her into the world. What they do now is gaslighting you. You are not responsible for your father's new family's well-being. And you are allowed to tell them that they should think about their kid's life before they had her, as adults do.
So just as a commentary, that's not gaslighting. They're being very direct. Gaslighting would be telling her that, you know, she's.
Well, they told her she's babysitting her.
They told her she's heartless. That's not gaslighting her. That's just being angry with her.
She looks after her niece and nephew from her brother's side.
Right, and they were thinking they wanted the same relationship. But again, gaslighting is like telling her, "Whoa, I don't understand what's wrong with you. There must be something wrong with you." And I don't think in this case.
I don't think it's the right term. Yeah, this person.
But she does have valid points.
Not the a-hole, but your dad and stepmom sure are. They knowingly set her up for heartbreak and painting you as the villain. Sure, she didn't ask to be brought into this situation, but neither did you. You said it yourself that you're not mean or cruel to her. I think it would be worse to engage, knowing that at some point you're going to cut them off.
I would probably have a slightly different perspective on that. As a 6-year-old's perspective, looking at her older sister that, I mean, I think she really wants, and maybe parents are playing up on that, being completely ignored is very hurtful and very mean. And she knows she's doing this. So I do not support that. I get the idea that she's not part of it.
I don't at all support and encourage that behavior towards the little girl, because she's not of any age that she can understand why she's being treated this way. So there's going to be a lot of confusion growing up. But at the same time, don't force an engagement between the two.
Yeah, but I do agree with her that the recipe for disaster is really being set by the parents.
It is.
Unfortunately, for this poor girl.
All right, so let us go into the next one. Am I overreacting for being mad at my boyfriend who had previous relations with my mother?
I don't even know where to begin with that one. My gosh. Is mad? Is there
any way previous relations can mean anything else?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
maybe they gave each other like a high five.
Yeah, that's what they did. I'm sure. Let's call it that.
Okay.
So
oh boy,
we can always. This is the ones that are really fun for us because we know these are difficult situations for people. We're not making light of that, but at the same time,
how do you get yourself into that situation?
How do you get into that situation is really the big question. So there's got to be more context here. So
All right, so let's see what the original poster said. Hi guys, fake names, obviously, for context. I, 25 female, have been dating Dustin, 30 male, coming up on 4 years now.
Nice choice for a fake name.
Dustin. What you doing? Just Dustin?
Yeah, just.
I'm sorry, it's no insult to anyone. She clearly used it for a reason. And he's always gotten along well with my family. Our moms became work friends years ago, so our families are very close. My mother, who is now a 42 female, had me when she was 17.
Ooh, okay.
Dustin and I have never had relationship issues besides the occasional argument, and we've been recently discussing marriage. The only problem we've consistently ran into is that he makes comments about my mother that come off as a little strange. But I've always...
Okay, let's...
I've always played them off as nothing. Probably wasn't a good idea, was it?
Probably not.
Okay, recently though, I've been picking up on these comments more and more. Sly remarks or winks at her as if they have made some inside joke, or strange suggestive compliments to her. I finally decided to confront him about how strange this was when he said, "Oh, what? Oh, okay." I completely misread that. I think I'm trying to misread it. I finally decided to confront him about how strange this was when he said during sex, "You have your mom's ass." What?
I think there's this moment of absolute like silence because I really don't know what to say. Well, I mean, okay, forgetting that part, how would you know? It's the why would you say that?
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time.
But holy cow, why would that come out of your mouth?
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
There's got to be more than this, right?
Okay, I lost my place, everyone. I got it.
And I understand why.
I told him. I told him how uncomfortable those comments made me, and he blew up, took his things, and stormed out. What the heck is he upset about?
I don't know.
He moved back in a week later and confessed everything. Okay. All right, let's put on our seatbelt, guys. This is gonna be a ride. Turns out, Dustin made out with my mother at a family gathering about 3 years ago. Mind you, we had been in an official relationship for over a year at that point. He claimed they were both drunk. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
The amount of times I hear I was drunk as an excuse.
Alcohol.
Oh my gosh. Then don't drink it if you can't control yourself.
Welcome back to the temperance
Oh
movement.
my goodness. All right. And that she initiated everything. But I don't think my mother would betray me like that. I didn't think your boyfriend would either, but here we are.
Well, the question is she going to talk to mommy?
And let's see.
About this
Then
one?
again, I never thought he would betray me like that either, but here we are. Oh, that's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
That's what she typed. Okay. I kicked him out, and he's staying with his mother while I try
I
to
was going to
figure
say
out.
with her mother.
I was just about to say.
Whose mother is he staying with now?
His mother. I mean, if it was her, then it was like, girl, cut your losses.
With both of them.
To try to figure out what to do. On one hand, it was a while ago and maybe he's changed, ? But the sly comments haven't stopped and get stranger the more I think back on them. Am I overreacting for being mad over this? It just doesn't feel right to me, and I don't think I could ever see him the same way.
There's no reason for her to feel like she's anything but what she's feeling. She didn't say anything about a conversation with her and her mother, which she needs to have. But no, there's no going back.
All right. We have a couple updates.
Oh, there's an update. Okay, this is good.
There's a couple updates.
Hope one of
So
them is talking
update
to
number
mom.
1, update. Sorry, I'm not completely sure how to update, so hopefully I'm doing this right. A lot of you mentioned to speak to my mom. There we go.
See? Great minds think alike. Thank you, audience.
Yeah, speak to the person who birthed you and then kissed your boyfriend. I think you should do it in that order. Speak to your mother. Why would your mother do this to you?
Yes.
Okay. I went over to my childhood home this morning to talk everything out and figure out what was really going on. I approached the topic gently, just telling her that I started to notice that my boyfriend was...
How do you approach this topic gently? That's the part I'm really curious about.
So I
just wanted to ask you just a small question. Hey, are you sleeping with my boyfriend?
Yeah, Ma, tell me.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
You should not have told us that.
And he made a comment about your.
So, Mom, apparently I got your ass according to our boyfriend. What do you think about that?
That's the very gentle way of saying
There
it.
we go.
Okay.
You want to approach it sarcastically. Anyway, she approached it gently.
That is the default for Savannah, by the way.
Sarcasm.
Yes.
It helps.
It helps.
Just telling her that I started to notice that my boyfriend was making weird comments about her. I felt like going in too strongly would cause her to shut down. My mom likes to talk anyway, so I figured all of the information would come out. She then started off with a comment and couldn't resist the tension. She did say that they were not drunk. when it happened. Well, not that it's a viable excuse anyway.
All right.
And that they got pretty far.
Hence the I see
But
the
nothing
ass
actually
comparison, right?
fully happened. I'm still so disgusted. Genuinely, I have no clue what to do in this situation. I've loved this man for so long and it all crumbled so quickly. I'll update if I get any information, but hopefully I won't. And unfortunately, everyone, she did.
Okay, there's more. There's a second update?
Yes.
All right. I'm this is like a nail biting at this point. Okay.
All right. All right. So we've strapped our seatbelts in, but I think we need to do...
Now we need the crash cushions.
Has everyone seen that video? Where the dad's sitting in the car with his daughter driving for the first time.
Yes.
And it's
That's so funny.
strap. And he does several straps and then he's like, okay, helmet. I think I'm ready. And she's just sitting there. It's like, really, Dad? Really? We're doing this right now. This is what we're doing.
This is one of those
buckling,
situations.
guys.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think I'd be posting again. I'm a little bit in shock right now, so I'm sorry if the writing is rough.
Well, we're going to forgive her for that for
My
sure.
mom called me today crying and saying that she couldn't lie to her daughter anymore. What she said a few days ago wasn't the truth. Turns out my mom has had sex with my boyfriend multiple times. All while my boyfriend and I were together. She said he made her feel young. I basically zoned out of the conversation. A few of you mentioned this as a possibility, but I was just hoping that they weren't true. Not only that, but she said he promised her that she was the one he truly loved and that he would break up with me.
Oh.
This wasn't just a one-time thing 3 years ago. It was an ongoing thing the whole time my boyfriend and I were together. She was crying uncontrollably and apologizing just like she had when she first came clean about everything, but I just hung up.
Yeah, I would have hung up too. I don't know what you would say to that. And it's not, I mean, she did this over the phone too. Wow.
Guilt is a very strong feeling.
I know, but it's like, I think in person.
I don't think in general you shouldn't have done it. The confession, we're way past how you should have done a confession. The confession should not exist in the first place. Let's finish.
No,
So
okay.
I genuinely feel sick. I thought this just happened in messed up comedies or dramas. I'm just glad this information got out before I got married and got tied down to this man forever. I'm very happy for it too. I'm still trying to sort everything out in my brain. I love my mom, but will never be able to look at her the same.
Yes.
I blocked her in the moment, and it's probably best that I keep it that way. It makes it so much worse that she's been the only person in my life that has been there for me when no one else has. But she's also the reason I'm sobbing and writing a Reddit post. I honestly wish she'd just always been a terrible mother, so this whole thing would be easier. I know it probably sounds stupid, but it's harder than it seems to be to fully go without seeing her. It's all just so disgusting to me. Pretty crappy 4th of July.
My heart breaks for her.
Oh, the betrayal.
So that's just on all fronts.
Not only you've been with this guy for 4 years, you started talking about like literally molding your life together, and all of a sudden it's like you find out that your mom, who you are forever close with, has just lied to you long term. So as your boyfriend, who do you run to? Where do you go?
Well, clearly not those two.
She must feel so alone.
Well, from a parent's point of view, that loss to me is the real big loss here, more than anything else.
Oh my gosh,
Because,
she
I mean,
really messed up this relationship with her daughter.
The boyfriend, okay, he's a complete ass.
There's more fish in the sea. Your mom's your mom.
Your mom is your mom.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a different relationship other than that one. There's only one mom relationship that you can have. And so they both have lost a lot through this and this choice. But it's really hard for me to try to find sympathy for either the boyfriend or the mother. I have all the sympathy in the world for
I don't think any of us over here
her.
can. A lot of comments, here we go, say, wow, I actually hope this one is fake, because obviously you get fake stories out there. I'm sorry to say this, but your mother unfortunately values her own pleasure over your safety and well-being, and he loved me more comment was meant to hurt you. Her aim was to inflict more pain in the moment. You cannot trust this woman, that's the facts. Your best bet would be to dump them both and go as close to no contact as possible. She doesn't own up because she felt guilty. She had to be quizzed to come clean. They would have 100% continued their affair because it's an affair, indefinitely. Sneaking off with your husband whilst you're home with the kids would be your future. Can you think about that?
No.
What they would have done if they actually got married? I'm a mother. In no realm of the universe would I do anything inappropriate with one of my kids' partners. It's just inconceivable.
I agree. I mean, there's no other way to look at this. The sad part is it's the destruction of a family. I don't hear anything about the father, so he doesn't sound like he's in the picture. That would have been nice if she had that relationship.
I hope she has a close friend or aunt that she can go to, but still, it is your mom. And she did say that she goes to her mom for everything. So, wow, okay, don't sleep with your kids' partners. Is that the object of the story over here?
No, I mean, there's so much more to this, but
we're very sad for her.
We're sad for her. It's a destruction of a relationship that she's valued extensively with her mom. And again, I put the boyfriend in a very small, like, sort of dust him away. Dust him, gets dust away, like in the dustpan, and just to get rid of him. So, I mean, he goes away, and life will be, the right person will come in her life on her journey, and she's going to have more wisdom and be better for it. So the other thing I would have to tell her is, and the same thing I would tell any woman, your intuition is something you should trust.
And she was feeling this way for a long time.
And she was feeling this way for a long time, and her intuition was right. This may not be the answer to everything, but it's a beautiful gift that women have, an intuition. Men have more like a gut check, if you want to call it that. That's the same concept. Trust that. And I'm glad that she was able to trust it enough to finally ask the questions. I'm just sorry that she got the answers that she did.
You know, I've actually told her more several times, being a little bit more forgetful postpartum, having kids, you know, your brain wiring and hormones are completely different. And then how many times have I gone and doubted my intuition on something silly like, gosh, did I put wipes or diapers in the diaper bag? And I go and say, I don't think I did, but then I don't bother checking anyway. But my gut, my intuition is telling me, no, I know I didn't, so check it. And then sure as heck I didn't. But it's like, point of the story is, I've learned now, don't ever doubt my intuition, because that's my soul's and body's way of knowing, listen, you're getting this feeling for a reason, address it, this is why. Yeah. And oftentimes you're gonna uncover things, and I have, unfortunately, I think in the realm of past relationships, it ended up being the case where there was cheating. And the only reason I found that out was I trusted my intuition, and I recalled the detail. And if you're not taking yourself seriously, like, I must be overreacting, you'll push it aside. You'll make yourself think like you're going crazy, or you're blowing it up or out of proportion. And I didn't. And this was a detail I called weeks ago that popped up in my head just randomly out of the blue. I addressed it, and sure enough, you open the closet of skeletons, and it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you should hear, so that you can move forward with your life.
I agree. The intuition is very important. The other part is it is part of your soul, and it is part of your ability to navigate through life. This is akin to the idea of walking into a room and feeling like I'm uncomfortable, or something off here.
Or like someone's watching you.
Or somebody's watching you.
Same thing.
Or you're in a situation, let's say you're in an area of town you shouldn't really be in, and you feel like you feel unsafe. This is the idea of trust it, because it's not something that logic will do. Logic will put you back in the place that you were in that you shouldn't have been in. So she she has a hard soul's journey with her right now, with this huge change in her family. I can tell her without certainty, with every certainty, I should say, the other way around, she will find love, and she will be a stronger person for that love. Relationship with her mother, it may take a very long time to come into a new and different relationship if they both choose to do that, but it will never be the same again,
No, it
unfortunately.
definitely won't. It will be a new relationship, and probably not as close as they were before.
No, and the other part that I would also always suggest, and it's not today because I think today's too early, forgive. Forgive, not
for your own sake.
For your own sake, not so much forgive the action. That's not what we're saying here. But if you can forgive someone, you're not going to carry that burden, and that's the wish I would have for her, is not for her to carry the burden. Her mother's going to carry the burden of the choice that she made, and that's enough. I mean, you don't have, but you don't need to carry it. She doesn't need to carry that forward in her life and be sort of on edge, I think, with her future. I think she has a beautiful future ahead. She had, unfortunately, a huge piece of wisdom and life experience that came through this. But I think
it's going to shape her.
It's going to shape her, but I'll put it this way, we always have faith in individuals coming forward with those experiences in life, and they can
grow from them.
Gain wisdom from it, but try not to take, I think, the negative emotions forward, because no one's going to suffer through that other than you. So love fully, walk forward in life. Yes, this chapter closed, ended, was shut down for now, put off, whatever it is. Again, we're sweeping dust into the dustpan. But in terms of her mother, that's probably the sadness that I would feel, is that loss there. What can happen now in the future is a completely different thing.
She can choose to be completely bitter after this and be very upset with life and never want to fall in love again, and just have a very negative outlook on life. Or she's gonna take it and say, you know what, I'm grateful I found out when I did. I'm grateful I didn't land up in a bad situation being married to the wrong person. And I'm also grateful I saw a different side to my mom that clearly I should be aware about. And I'm going to take this and allow myself to be stronger for it. Yes, I'm now going to be a little bit more wary maybe in my relationships and who I choose to be around. But you're still choosing to not hold yourself back and just keep moving forward. So you can be complete polar opposites of a person, depending if you want to do the positive route or the negative route. You can choose to go down a very dark path if you want to, or you can really choose to take this as, this is my turning point in life. I am going to show them that, I am going to be better for it.
Yeah.
That's a good note.
Choose love every time.
Choose love every time.
Always.
Don't fight.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
We appreciate your time, and we appreciate being part of our community and have you with us. As always, if you have any comments or requests, or if you want to know the tea that we're having, we're happy to share all that information so that you can join us a little more closely.
And we would like to do some story times with you. So if you're curious about our relationship or anything that's come to mind as we've shared these stories with you, we'd love to. So we will dive into other topics outside of Reddit. It would be fun to just connect with the community out there.
Yeah. We answer questions, so just keep that in mind. So we're very happy to again, share some of our experience.
Yes, we are.
Thank you very much for joining us.
All right. This is the Munch Corner Podcast.
Until our next time. All right. Thank you.
Bye.